Blues fans, welcome back to the Blues Hub. Chelsea are not slowing down. The Blues are continuing their transfer plans under Xabi Alonso, and today we have another huge story to bring you. Chelsea are reportedly looking at Alex Scott and Francisco Conceição as the club continues to build a squad capable of competing for the biggest trophies. But what exactly is happening behind the scenes? Could Chelsea make another massive move before the transfer window closes? And what would these players mean for Xabi Alonso's plans at Stamford Bridge? We are going to break everything down for you right here on the Blues Hub. So make sure you subscribe, like the video, share it with your fellow Chelsea fans, and comment your thoughts below. If you love Chelsea and you never want to miss the latest Blues news, you are in the right place. Let's get straight into today's massive Chelsea transfer story. Chelsea prepare €150 million blockbuster moves for Alex Scott and Francisco Conceição as Xabi Alonso continues his revolution. Chelsea are preparing for another important phase of their summer transfer strategy as Xabi Alonso continues to shape the squad he wants to take forward. The Blues remain active in the transfer market, and two names have increasingly attracted attention: Bournemouth midfielder Alex Scott and Juventus winger Francisco Conceição. The headline surrounding Chelsea is enormous, a possible €150 million investment for each player. However, there is an important distinction between what is being discussed around Chelsea and what has actually been confirmed. At this stage, there is no reliable confirmation that Chelsea have formally submitted €150 million bids for Alex Scott and Francisco Conceição, nor is there confirmation that either transfer has been agreed. What can be established is that Chelsea have been linked with both players, that Scott has been associated with interest from Chelsea, and that Conceição has emerged as another possible attacking option. As the transfer window approaches its final stages, that distinction matters because Chelsea's current transfer operation is already one of the most aggressive in Europe. The club has invested heavily in the squad during the 2026 summer window, with Transfermarkt listing Chelsea's incoming expenditure at approximately €408 million. So if Chelsea were genuinely prepared to spend another €300 million on two players, it would represent an extraordinary escalation of their recruitment strategy. But why would Chelsea consider players such as Alex Scott and Francisco Conceição? And more importantly, what could each player bring to Xabi Alonso's Chelsea? Chelsea's new era. Under Xabi Alonso, Chelsea's project has entered another important stage. The arrival of Xabi Alonso represents a major change in sporting direction. Alonso is not simply being asked to manage the players already available to him. He is expected to develop a squad capable of competing consistently at the highest level of English and European football. That requires more than expensive signings. It requires players who fit a tactical structure. This is where the potential interest in Alex Scott and Francisco Conceição becomes particularly interesting. Scott represents the midfield side of the project, Conceição represents the attacking side. One could potentially improve Chelsea's control and progression through midfield, while the other could provide another dynamic option in the final third. Chelsea, therefore, would not simply be buying two famous names. They would potentially be addressing two different tactical requirements. Alex Scott. Why Chelsea could be interested. Alex Scott has developed into one of Bournemouth's most important midfielders. The 22-year-old possesses characteristics that make him attractive to clubs looking for a modern Premier League midfielder. He can operate in central midfield, contribute to ball progression, and participate in possession-based football. For Chelsea, that profile is particularly interesting. Alonso's teams generally require midfielders who are comfortable receiving the ball under pressure, moving it quickly, and understanding positional relationships. Scott's ability to operate between midfield lines and contribute to possession could therefore make him an attractive option. There has already been reporting suggesting Chelsea should move for Scott, while other reports have associated the midfielder with Chelsea and Manchester United interest. Bournemouth have also reportedly been working to protect his future, with his valuation being discussed at more than £60 million. That figure is significant, but it is still dramatically different from 150 million euros. Therefore, anyone presenting 150 million euros as an already confirmed Chelsea bid needs to be treated cautiously. Why Bournemouth would resist? Bournemouth would have little reason to make the sale easy. Scott is young, Premier League proven, and potentially still has considerable room for development. If Chelsea genuinely pushed strongly for him, Bournemouth would be in a powerful negotiating position. The Cherries could argue that the player is central to their project. They could demand a premium. They could also point to the current transfer market, where Premier League clubs have become increasingly reluctant to sell important young players cheaply. This is one reason why Chelsea's interest could become complicated. Chelsea have the financial capacity to spend, but financial capacity does not automatically mean that every reported valuation is realistic. A 150 million euro fee for Scott would completely change the scale of the proposed transfer. It would make him one of the most expensive midfielders in football history. There is currently no reliable evidence that Chelsea have reached that stage. Francisco Conceição? A different kind of target. Francisco Conceição is a completely different type of player. The Portuguese winger is associated with Juventus and has built a reputation as a technically gifted attacking player capable of operating from wide areas. Chelsea's interest makes sense from a squad building perspective. The club has consistently invested in young attacking talent. Conceição would fit that philosophy. He is technically gifted, aggressive in 1-versus-1 situations and capable of creating opportunities from wide positions. The latest Chelsea transfer coverage has specifically linked the Blues with a possible move for the Juventus winger. Other reporting has also suggested that Chelsea could consider Conceição as the transfer window approaches its conclusion. But again, the 150 million euro figure needs to be separated from the actual reporting. There is no reliable confirmation that Chelsea have offered 150 million euros to Juventus. Chelsea and the attacking puzzle. The Conceição situation becomes more interesting when viewed alongside Chelsea's wider squad planning. Chelsea have already made significant changes to their attacking group. Players have arrived, players have departed, others have been linked with moves away. Alejandro Garnacho, for example, left Chelsea temporarily after Aston Villa confirmed his loan signing in July. At the same time, reports have discussed uncertainty around Pedro Neto and interest from other clubs. That creates a situation in which Chelsea may want additional attacking depth. The question is not simply whether Chelsea need another winger. The question is whether the next winger must provide qualities that are currently missing. Conceição could potentially provide directness, technical quality and unpredictability. Those characteristics are valuable in the Premier League. The 150 million euro question. This is the most important part of the story. If Chelsea were to spend 150 million euros on Alex Scott and another 150 million euros on Francisco Conceição, the combined expenditure would reach 300 million euros. That would be extraordinary. It would also come on top of the already enormous investment Chelsea have made during the current transfer window. Transfermarkt currently lists Chelsea's incoming expenditure for the 2026-27 window at approximately 407.95 million euros. Adding another 300 million euros would take the theoretical total beyond 700 million euros. That is why the 150 million euros figure should not be presented as established fact without direct confirmation. Chelsea may be willing to spend heavily, but there is a difference between being financially capable of paying 150 million euros and actually deciding that a player is worth 150 million euros. What would 300 million euros mean for Chelsea? If the club actually committed that amount, it would demonstrate an extraordinary level of confidence in Alonso's long-term project. It would mean Chelsea believes Scott and Conceição could become central figures for years. The strategy would effectively be buy young, develop young, build around young, compete immediately. That has been one of the defining characteristics of Chelsea's recruitment model. But Alonso would also face a major challenge. A large squad can create competition. Too large a squad can create problems. Players need minutes, young players need development, experienced players need responsibility, and a manager